Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're doing well. It is happy Thursday, October the 8th, 2020. And I'm glad you're here. We've got some good work to do. Today we do have tutoring after school. I'm here right now after school. So come join me and I'll help you get caught up, get your work done. You can check in on our Zoom link. It's in Schoology. And today we'll focus on writing a rough draft of a short story and genre characteristics of drama. And I will make connections to personal experiences and ideas in my writing. And of course, you got to write about what you know. If you've never played football, you're not going to write a story about football. Now, you don't have to tell the whole truth, exactly the truth, but your experience makes your stories realer. Realer, is that a real word? I don't think it is. But even if it's not, it's still true. And our close, how was the writing process for you today? So for those of us who don't like writing, yeah, absolutely, we need some positive affirmations. Do it on purpose. What are you? I am smart, confident, and successful. Awesome, I know you are. How do you feel about writing? I love writing. It's so much fun. Yes, it is. I agree. And how do you feel about schoolwork? The harder I work, the smarter I become. And it's so true. The more you practice it, you'll see what I mean. You'll know I'm right. So before we get started with the writing process, I want us to do a review of our drama genre terms. And let's look at my little reference guide here. Remember, the last one was purple, and it was fiction and poetry. There were quite a few in the middle, but look, there's even more in the middle for fiction and drama, because fiction and drama both have plot, characters, setting, and conflict. All of that was over on this side last time, right? Now it's over here. They also share, of course, theme, symbolism, figurative language. They have commentary in them. But drama has the power of performance, and performance makes a big difference. If you watch the videos from yesterday, you know what I'm talking about. And you see the actors acting and emotional, and it's so much easier to understand than trying to read it off of a flat page. So in the future, if you have a different teacher and the teacher says, we're going to read a play and then watch the movie afterwards, I highly recommend, hey, find a place, rent it, go to Netflix, Hulu, whatever, and find the best, highest rated version of it and watch it before you actually read it. It's going to make such a difference for you, just like it's making a difference for us. So let's talk about dramatic conventions, monologue, soliloquy, aside, and all of that. And let's go back to here. We know about characters, we know about plot, and symbolism. Of course, we should know about that too. Things act as symbols for ideas, for beliefs, for themes, and you see that in both plays and in fiction. And let's not talk about tragedy and drama yet, or comedy. We'll talk about that in a minute. Dramatic conventions, really, mostly it has to do with stage directions, and they're telling the actors how to sound, how to act, what to do. It's almost like a narrator. It's the stage directions. And there's other conventions too, the way they do things on stage, like stage left is the way the actor is facing if the actor is facing the audience, and stage right is also from the actor's point of view facing out on the stage. There's blocking. You have to stand a certain way so that the audience can hear you and see you, and they all pay attention to these common conventions, as well as, once again, following the stage directions that the script writer wrote, and it makes a difference there. Monologue, if you remember back from freshman year, we read Raisin in the Sun, and Walter would monologue about money and how important money is, and Mama would monologue about, no, family is important, and you have to do what's right for your family. And which one of them is right, it doesn't really matter. What matters is they were on stage giving a long speech to a silent listener, and they were really, a lot of times, talking about theme. Soliloquy is a little different because they're telling you about their inner thoughts, and they're basically talking to themselves on stage. So the character, like Benedict and Beatrice, right? Remember, they were tricked in Much Ado About Nothing. They had friends who were talking about them, telling how Beatrice was so in love with Benedict, and of course Benedict didn't know anything about it. And after he finds out about it and they all leave, well, then he has a soliloquy. Love me? Why? I would think it was a trick, but the old bearded fellow was there. And then he goes on and starts talking about wanting to get married and so forth. Well, that's definitely a soliloquy. And Beatrice does the same thing. When the characters have an aside, well, they're saying something secretly, and the other actors pretend that they can't hear. In the play, if the stage directions tells them, it's an aside, that means the people they're not talking to pretend like they can't hear. So it's good in comedy, right? There might be three actors on the stage, and I turn to one actor and say, "Here comes Johnny. Watch what happens. I'm going to play a trick on him." Well, the actor playing Johnny pretends he can't hear and he follows along. And when something's going to happen after an aside, that creates dramatic irony. The audience is in on the joke. And the joke I'm going to play on Johnny, you know what's going to happen because you were listening in, but Johnny pretends he doesn't know. He's acting. If it's comedy, you're in on the joke. If it's tragedy, yeah, you're in on the sad truth. And and if the characters don't know, it really builds up the suspense. Oh, I'm going to play a trick on Mr. Carvajal, and everybody knows what's happening except for Mr. Carvajal. Oh my God, what's the trick going to be? How is he going to react? Dramatic irony. It builds up suspense. We saw a comedy with Much Ado About Nothing. And in comedies, it all works out in the end. The guy gets the girl, they kiss at the end of the movie, and they live happily ever after. Tragedy, not so much. Remember, we watched that summary, that little short comedy of Romeo and Juliet. And of course, they were just trying to be funny, but they got the basics of the play right. Romeo really thinks Juliet is dead. Friar Lawrence sends somebody to tell him the truth, but doesn't get to him in time. Romeo hears that she's dead. He buys poison to kill himself, and he goes to the tomb to find her. And he finds her lying there, right under the effects of that potion, thinks she's dead, and literally seconds before she wakes up, he kills himself. And of course, the audience is fighting in their minds, like, come on, Romeo, wait, just wait. Don't kill yourself, you idiot. And that's that dramatic irony. You know what's happening, but he doesn't. And then, seconds after he falls down dead, Juliet wakes up and she finds him dead. She doesn't want to live without him. She kills herself too. And that's what happens in tragedies. Romeo and Juliet is not your average tragedy. In most tragedies, it's some kind of highborn person, a prince or a king, and they have some kind of fatal flaw that causes their end. But basically, yeah, it's sad, and everybody dies, and that's a tragedy. If you have any other questions about drama, of course, ask me. But I consider this pretty much a review. Most of us have heard all of this in the past. But let's get to today's work, because I'm excited about today's work. I love writing, and I know you do too, even if you don't. So there's two things available: the short story starters and requirements, and then where you're actually going to write your story in. So if we click on this one, and of course you can open up your own copy so that you can view it and do whatever you want. So you're going to write your own short story. If you love writing, if you really love writing, and you already know what you're going to write, remember you're supposed to focus on your theme that you picked for your project. Well, great. Just write your story. Don't worry about this. This is to help people that struggle with writing a little bit. So here's the basics of it. Tell your story. The big thing is make your character suffer. You build up rising action, you build up suspense. So if your character is running away from zombies, are they going to just be able to run and get to their car okay? No, of course not. They're going to trip and fall down and have to scramble and get back up. If they try and call the police, call 911 for help. Is their phone going to work? No, of course not. It's going to be no service or their battery's dead. When they get to the car, they're just going to open? Maybe. But when they get inside, is the car going to start right away? Of course not. They have to struggle. They have to fight. And that's what makes your story interesting to read. You've got to build up that rising action, build up that suspense. So whatever you write, hey, take your time, make your character struggle, because the conflict is what makes a story. Remember, this is a rough draft. I don't care about spelling. I don't care about punctuation. Just have fun telling your story. If you don't know how to do it right, do it wrong. Just get it written. Too many of us are too hard on ourselves and we shut ourselves down. No, that's not good enough. No, you can't do that. Your writing's not that good. I don't like this story. All that negative talk, you're just hurting yourself. So forgive yourself for being a perfectionist and then just let yourself write. You have to write at least 100 words. Less than that, 150 words. Less than that, I will not accept it. Don't even bother turning it in. If you want a 70, well, give me 200 words. For an 80, 250, a 90, 300, and for 100, go over 350. Of course, we all know to check our word count by just hitting Tools, Word Count, and they'll tell you how many words are there. On this page, there's 378. And this is basically a page. How about that? Okay, so what if you don't know what to write? What if you don't know how to start? Well, then great, you can use my story starters. Just pick one that you like, copy it, paste it in, change anything to make it however you want, and continue your story from there. So let's look at these. The first one is love, revenge, coming of age. I mean, it can also be redemption, bravery, perseverance too. The first one is the phone was ringing, that stupid ringtone again that tells me it's my ex true love. I wanted to get a hammer and smash it. I knew it was him or her. Again. I didn't have to look at the screen. Instead, I thought for a moment, took a deep breath, picked it up, and said, what do you want to say? It's your story. Continue the story. Family love as opposed to romantic love. Revenge, coming of age, retribution. So here I am at the Little League baseball game. Support your brother. He really looks up to you, Mom says. It'll be fun, Mom says. Wrong on both counts, Mom. It was just boring. And he's such an annoying kid. I actually thought it was funny that they lost, LOL. But then I saw that big kid push him. Nobody pushes my little brother but me. I jumped up and what happens? What would you do in that situation? Tell your story. Good versus evil, bravery and perseverance, redemption. So there we were in the Juarez mansion, the old condemned haunted house where the crazy rich people all died. I didn't believe in ghosts, so when my friends dared me to spend the night there, I said, sure, I ain't scared. But then I heard a noise from down the hall. It sounded like, what did it sound like? You tell us. And then revenge, redemption, bravery, perseverance. For those of us that are in sports, this is perfect for you, or any kind of competition, really. Today is a day. The game is about to start. I wasn't ready for the last game, but this time is different. This time I'm here to win. I look across, and then, the football field, the soccer field. I look across the locker room. Whatever it is, you just tell the story. Come up with your antagonist, the guy that's a jerk, and give him a name. And he said, or she said, what's up, loser? Ready to lose again? I smiled and said, and then tell your story. Where do you tell your story? Oops, let's go back. You tell your story right here. Short story, rough draft. Open up your own copy. And just click here and start writing and have fun with it. Now, if you really would rather write by hand, like actually write old school on some notebook paper, great. You can do that. So if you do that, just take pictures of it that are legible that I can read. And it's got to be at least a full page. A full page of normal sized handwriting will get you a 70. 2 full pages of normal sized handwriting will get you 100. And attach them to this. Attach them to this thing. I think you can attach it as a submission or something. And turn that in, and I will count that for your grade. It's due tonight at midnight, and have fun telling your story. Have fun. Remember, you love writing. I love writing. I love getting my work done. I am confident, successful, and strong. Alrighty, have a great evening. And if you have any questions, be sure and message me. Bye-bye.